Hey, it's me, and welcome to Trump Mafia. Now, it's pretty obvious that Uranium One and the Clinton Foundation are at the heart of why these people want to get rid of President Trump. They're scared. And also when you see the FBI actually seizing all these documents that a whistleblower had exposing Uranium One and the Clinton Foundation, then you know they're trying to cover it up. At the same time, they're sending a signal to any whistleblowers: do not expose the Clinton Foundation, do not expose Uranium One. Now guess what? Robert Mueller was a key player not only in the Uranium One deal, delivering a sample to Russia, as you know. He was also involved in shutting down the very investigation going after the bribery scandal, where a lot of people in the media and in Congress were bribed to praise the Uranium One deal or to shut up about it. And so the FBI and the DOJ seem to be intimately involved in not only the Uranium One deal, but the Clinton Foundation. So I made a video recently saying, like, it seems Robert Mueller is really clearing the path for Hillary to run again, because she cannot face Trump again. She would lose, but anybody else, she could win. She would be a shoo-in. And that's what she believes. And she's power hungry. And so if Mueller succeeds in removing Trump, then she will run. There is no doubt in my mind. She will do it. And that is because it's been her lifelong ambition, and they committed so many crimes to get to this point. And Robert Mueller is enabling that. Not only clearing the path, he's covering up for the Trump dossier everything she did, at the same time going after whistleblowers that were exposing the Clinton Foundation. And you have Clinton Foundation people in Robert Mueller's team even. And of course, you know that Robert Mueller is also doing opposition research. Who are the people that helped Trump to campaign, to go from here to there? What did he do in what state? And all of that is being given to the Democrats. Because Robert Mueller is a Democrat, he's not a Republican. Just like James Comey is not a Republican. These are Democrats. And all of these people are involved in Uranium One. The Clintons, of course the Clinton Foundation, Robert Mueller, James Comey, Andrew McCabe, Susan Rice, John Kerry, Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, and of course Choco, intimately involved, the whole administration, because for that kind of a deal, selling Russia all of our uranium, I mean a big chunk of it, that's collusion with Russia. That is going against the national interest and national security of our nation. I mean, who the hell sells our uranium, which is used to make bombs, nuclear bombs, to like a major competitor? That's collusion with Russia, especially when you see there's a bribery scandal surrounding all of it. And meanwhile you have this fake inquisition about collusion with Russia by President Trump in his campaign, and it's all bogus, there's no evidence, but they're doing that so that people won't look at the Clinton Foundation and the Uranium One deal, where guess who? Yeah, Robert Mueller was involved. Robert Mueller should be investigating himself and his friend James Comey. And as you can see, you have a lot of powerful people that were involved. You have the whole Choco administration. You have a lot of attorneys general that were involved, Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, and a lot of people at the FBI. And so they're covering up for themselves, they're covering up for the Clinton Foundation, the Clintons, the Democrats, and they're also covering up, of course, everything that happened with the Trump dossier. So where do we stand? We stand dealing with an FBI and a DOJ that is so corrupt, that is so controlled by the Clinton Foundation and the Clintons, that they're attacking a sitting president while protecting Hillary and Bill Clinton, as well as Choco and everybody related to Choco and the past administration. They don't care about the rule of law because they themselves are the criminals, and they themselves harmed our national security by selling that uranium to Russia, and a lot of people got kickbacks and bribes. Hence, there was a bribery scandal and investigation, which Mueller shut down. On top of that, you have Choco and Hillary, who left Americans to die in Benghazi. Think of it. And so who did they send over there to investigate? Robert Mueller. And of course, he found that nothing that Hillary or Choco did was wrong. I mean, you can't make this up. So we're talking about a national crisis here. Because if you cannot rely on the DOJ or the FBI, who's going to do it? The military? And so really now we have a big problem, because it doesn't matter who the Attorney General is if the rest of the basket has all these bad apples that were involved in Uranium One. And I'm sick and tired of hearing about, the rank and file FBI, they're all honorable. And the same is said of the DOJ, just like they said Robert Mueller was honorable and full of integrity, like this guy's an angel. No, he was involved in Uranium One. He was involved in covering up the bribery surrounding it. He's protecting Hillary and Bill Clinton, as well as Choco and everybody else. And I know it seems like it is so out of sync with what the DOJ and the FBI should be doing. And so what I'm really saying is that, the FISA application and all the crimes committed there, I mean, that's serious. And everything they did with the Trump dossier, that's also collusion. A lot of info was gotten by Christopher Steele from the Kremlin. We're talking about the Russian government filling in big chunks of the Trump dossier, and that is collusion. But I'm saying that all of these crimes are like 20% of what they did, and that the 80% is really Uranium One. Because again, think of it. I mean, they're talking about maybe some emails were, retrieved from John Podesta and then given to WikiLeaks, and Roger Stone knew about it and told Bourbon Bannon or President Trump, and that's the collusion, or that's the crime, and it's a farce. But compare that to a bunch of people in government and the FBI and the DOJ colluding with the Clinton Foundation to sell our uranium to Russia, while at the same time covering up the bribery scandal that occurred to pay off people in the media, people in Congress. And yes, I'm saying that some Republicans were involved, even probably those people that are praising Mueller the most. Because if you're talking about Uranium One, it's not just the Choco administration. Other things had to be in place for that deal to come through. So the Iran deal is suspect as well. I believe that it was a kind of carbon copy of what they did with the Uranium One deal. But this one was a favorite for the Iranian gargoyle, Valerie Jarrett, and of course Choco, big fans of Iran. They're big fans of Iran. You had bribery going all around to the media in Congress as well to praise the Iran deal, like it was something great, like wow, you just prevented Iran from getting nuclear weapons, when the effect is the exact opposite, and giving billions in cash. And that's the equivalent of filling up a high school gymnasium from the floor to the ceiling, and there's not an inch free. All cash. And they sent that to Iran. So if you believe that none of these pallets with cash ended up, in the hands of Choco, the Obamas, or the Clinton Foundation, or Robert Mueller and James Comey, and all the other people that participated in some way in the Iran deal, then you're stupid. And I believe many of those emails that Hillary deleted, 33,000, were of these people in the FBI and the DOJ, and of course Choco himself communicating about the Iran deal and the Uranium One deal. We're talking about massive bribery going all around, and it's not a surprise the media would collude with the FBI and the DOJ and the Democrats and the Clintons, because they were also involved taking money. And so everybody was taking money, everybody was involved in the Uranium One deal, everyone is involved in the Iran deal. And so there comes Trump, and they're all worried, because when it comes out, it'll make the crimes connected to the FISA warrant or the Trump dossier look like peanuts. I mean, we're talking about something that is so massive that it's hard to explain the scope and the extent of the corruption. Because if you look at the FBI now and the DOJ, why are they acting in that way? They're acting like the MAFIA. They're not acting like the Department of Justice and the FBI. They're acting like a criminal organization covering up their crimes. And that is scary. So it's not just Mueller. It wasn't just James Comey or Andrew McCabe or Peter Strzok. We're talking about a lot of people in the FBI and a lot of people in the DOJ. And yes, that's going to include a lot of people that are rank and file. So our nation is in danger. Because like I said, if you cannot rely on them, who can you rely on? Even the U.S. Marshals are under the DOJ. The DEA is under the DOJ. We have Homeland Security, we have Border Patrol, and we have the military. And so really, what can we do now? So you can understand that President Trump is facing an enemy. Now, he will win somehow. But if you look at some of these people in the media, Coulter, Savage, all of these people on Fox News, I mean, they're talking about a wall. They're ankle biting, trying to have Trump supporters be disappointed. You have the fake PSYOP by Brennan, QAnon, also creating false expectations. And then eventually they want Trump supporters to blame Trump. But in this time, when you have the DOJ and FBI corruption, and they're all in bed together with the media, even in the right media, and of course the whole left media, and the Clinton Foundation is involved, Bill Clinton, then to ankle bite about a wall, which will come later, I mean, that is disgusting. And it shows that those very people that are trying to criticize Trump now in the right media, I'm saying those people took money from the Iran deal, they took money for the Uranium One deal. There is no other explanation for their obsession to criticize Trump when the powers that be are trying to remove him, and they're setting their priorities on a completely different level. And it's almost like they've been instructed to do so before 2020, to start peeling away Trump supporters and to create doubts in the minds of Trump supporters. And I've been talking about this for almost 2 years now, and I know I have small channels and whatnot, but the truth is that it all comes back to Uranium One and the Clinton Foundation. So it's not just Bill and Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation, it's the whole Choco administration, it's the whole FBI, it's the whole DOJ, and yes, also the State Department. So you're going to have to understand that what Trump is facing here is so outrageous, so large, the corruption is so deep, you can almost not cut away this cancer anymore. And so I repeat, the reason I'm saying all of this is not because I'm worried. I trust in Trump, and I understand the Trump rule, and he knows all of this since last year. Even I know it, and you know it. And we know what the problem is. We know where the enemy is. We know where the corruption is. And I don't worry about it because, of course you need to fight. You need to have your heads up. But I don't feel like we're about to lose our nation. But we're talking about heavy criminality in a lot of departments. and it's much more corrupt than we ever knew. And that is because that's how many people were involved in Uranium One and the bribery scandal. And then you had a kind of carbon copy with the Iran deal, and again, a bribery scandal. So that's two. And all of these people are always deeply involved. Then you could say there's a third, which is Spygate and a Trump dossier, and working with overseas entities, Five Eyes, MI6. And you notice that President Trump is the odd one out. He wasn't involved at all. And so if he's president and he gets reelected, all of these people will never sleep at night because something could happen. So you have the DOJ and the FBI. They're pretending, they're just doing their job, and yeah, they're investigating, but the IG is slow walking everything. You saw people like Trey Gowdy in Congress slow walk everything about Uranium One and the Hillary email server scandal. I mean, he was chairman of the Oversight Committee, and he was in charge of investigating Uranium One. How many people did he interview? 0. How many documents did he get? 0. And this is the same guy that was in charge of the Benghazi hearings. And what did he achieve? Nothing. So it's not just Trey Gowdy on the Congress side. I mean, it's the media collusion, the left media, and many people in the right media. I can tell who the people are that took money. You can tell. It's so easy to see it. And one sign is if they start nitpicking or ankle biting and trying to criticize Trump, for small things. Because, if you believe in Trump and you see a second term coming, you don't have any worries. I mean, he's been overachieving in spite of all the resistance, and it's only been a year and a half. So to have these people nitpicking when you see the enormity of the cover-up and the crimes that were committed and the enemy he faces, then those people are part of the problem, and they're part of the enemy forces, in my opinion. That's why I've been talking about it that much. It's really the enemy within that is even the worst enemy. And if you control the DOJ and the FBI, as the Clintons do, and the Clinton Foundation, and of course Choco and the Iranian gargoyle, then it also means that if you're colluding with the media, you can set the narratives, you can create whatever you want to create, and that's exactly what Robert Mueller and his Democrat team are doing. These are Clinton Foundation operatives. These are people that were involved in Uranium One and the Iran deal. And on top of all of that, you had Robert Mueller. In his first year together with Choco, they worked with the Ukrainian zillionaires to free a hostage in Iran, which was really another excuse to give Iran a lot of cash. Again, the Iranian gargoyle, Valerie Jarrett, really interested in helping Iran as much as possible. Hey, she was born in Iran, what do you expect? And so, if you look at Robert Mueller, he's one of the main criminals. And he's the one who's a special counsel. I mean, you cannot make it up. And so when President Trump tweets about how this case and everything that's related to it will be studied for decades to come, I agree. This is historic. I mean, we're talking about historic criminality. At the same time, we have a historic president who's doing an amazing job on every front. Every front. To criticize or nitpick President Trump right now means you're part of the enemy. You're part of the enemy forces. You're part of the deep state. And that's why I've been outing the Q Brennan operation, the Q people. They're unknowingly helping the deep state. And they're like a bunch of man-culters and, freakish Trump derangement syndrome smurfs that don't know what they're doing. Demented Ewoks, if you will. Demented Ewoks. And it's sad. A lot of people out there, maybe they've been deceived. Maybe they think they're doing the right thing, but they've been deceived by the deep state and these psyops. And you can see who the traitors are. You can see who's being paid off. It's very easy to see. Even some people on YouTube are being paid off to start slamming Trump once in a while, to start nitpicking. Yeah, another nitpicker. And, I can imagine if I had a bigger channel, some people would come up to me and say, hey, how about if I join your Trump Mafia headquarters and I pledge $5,000 per month? Wouldn't that be great? And I'm like, yeah, but what's the catch? Well, Trump's not finishing the wall, and, maybe he's not the best that we could have, and, we want to be a made member over there, big pledge, but you gotta talk about those things. And if I were anybody else, I'd be like, okay, right? Money talks. And that's why you see all these idiotic YouTubers and websites suddenly start nitpicking and ankle biting, slamming Trump, trying to confuse Trump supporters. And I would be here suddenly saying, why is the wall not built yet? How about the 200,000 sealed indictments? Why is Trump not unsealing them? And I don't know, I just feel disappointed. Maybe Trump is not the guy that we thought he was. And because of you guys listening to me for a long time, you develop some trust, and you're like, well, TM is really disappointed, and so am I, by the way. And yeah, we're all disappointed, because that's what happens on those other channels. You have one of these people suddenly slamming Trump, right? And you think that's just natural. You think they're just really disappointed. No, they got paid. They got paid. Just like you see a lot of people on Fox News slamming Trump. All of these people are either working for a boss or hidden sources of money, or they've just been bribed in a way, and then they're like talking heads, easily controlled. But I can tell you, and I can promise to you that will never happen on Trump Mafia. And that's really because I don't have to be here. I don't have to do this. This is not my job. It was never my fantasy to be talking on the internets. But these are historic times. Like I said, all of that corruption and the criminality, it's historic. But at the same time, we have a magnificent president who is historic, and it's a fight between good and evil. And I'm here because I'm on the good side, and I want to use common sense. I'm not going to waste my time talking about fake news or 200,000 sealed indictments or Q fairy tales or InfoWars this or that, because they're performing. They're lying to people. They're inventing stories, a soap opera, and something to follow, the mystery of Oak Island. And okay, you can watch it if you want to be entertained, but it's not about reality. But Trump Mafia is about reality, unless I'm making like a funny video or something like that. And so I don't have to be here, but I do spend time away from working, meaning I sacrifice some time. It's not that much. If you have to know how much time I spend, it's really very easy. Just talk, upload, and I spend more time chatting than actually making videos and uploading them. It's a chat time that is really, but you can do that, right? You have a separate window. It's like a lot of people are doing that when they're in the chat room, I know, and so am I. So it's not that bad, but it's true that I'm spending time doing things when I could be doing many more things that are more fun. And sometimes, I'm sorry, I have to compare it to what President Trump is doing. He didn't have to do this. I mean, he could be there with Melania, enjoying his life and building another project. It would be so easy. Everything would be beautiful, and everybody would be happy. But instead, he took the bull by the horns. I mean, this guy really jumped into the fire, and he's extinguishing this fire. But it's a big fire, so he needs our support, right? And I also need your support. for that little time. So I cannot even compare it to what President Trump is going through. But I'm saying that everyone who is supporting Trump or is on the side of good, you have to contribute something. Is it a little bit of time? Is it a little bit of money? Is it, just posting comments? It's something that helps. Everything helps. And that's what I'm saying. Tell your neighbors about how great Trump is and his achievements. Or put a bumper sticker on your car, wear a t-shirt, I don't know, something. But it's about T, not Q. Praise Trump. Because it's really all about this one person that is facing this enormous enemy. Because we all know, or we all should know, that anyone else, any other Republican or conservative, they would have fallen by now. But President Trump really is a very strong guy, and he's also, wicked smart, and he's a genius. And they never faced somebody like this. And they keep on underestimating him, which is great, because he will keep on winning. But I can tell you that anyone else would have failed by now, because you cannot imagine the pressure. But President Trump, he's really something. That's why I call him Donald the Great. So I appreciate all the MAID members that have supported me. Many have supported me for like a year. That's incredible. And I have some very famous people that are supporting me also at the Trump Mafia headquarters, because they're secretly big Trump fans. And you would never know. You would never know. But I know. And they know. And so on the download, they're supporting me. And again, it doesn't really offset the time that I spent away from doing more productive or fun things even. But I feel like we all have to contribute something. And I have a soothing voice and some common sense, and also my 2 cents. And that's what I'm giving you. A couple of memes, I don't know. It's not much, but at least I'm doing something. And so for those people that have been supporting Trump Mafia, which does not include YouTube, thank you very much. And I'm looking forward to Christmas and the New Year. And I think that 2019 and 2020 are going to be very exciting. Because you know what? In the end, Trump will win and he will be reelected. But let's not joke around. It's going to be a battle. And we need all hands on deck. So stop listening to fairy tales. Start listening to Trump Mafia.
A shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist. A young loner on a crusade to champion the cause of the innocent, the helpless, the powerless, in a world of criminals who